Hello everyone and welcome to Mark Knoll Horsemanship. Here we are with Cheyenne, a 3-year-old saddlebred mare, filly. We're going to be riding Cheyenne here for you. I've already warmed her up with a little bit of groundwork. I always like to do that on these younger horses that are here, and they may be green and maybe still yet trying to get adjusted to the saddle and all that good stuff. And I want to talk about that briefly while I'm getting this rope ready here. I'm just going to rig up basically a rope hackamore on her. That's what I've been riding her in. Haven't put a bit in her mouth yet, and like I said, that's what I kind of want to go over with everybody here as I'm getting ready. But horses are one-tracked, not necessarily one-track, but their minds are not very good at keeping up with more than, with several things at one time, more than one thing. So the reason that I don't start a horse riding them in a bridle is that I want them to focus on me only. I want them to focus on getting used to me being on their back. And I have found out in the past that if I do too many things to these horses at one time, they're really not focused on what I'm trying to get them to overcome first. Let's go back to the saddle. A lot of people, will just saddle a horse and let it buck it out, and next day they may ride it, or a few days later. I'm pretty adamant about working these things for several days after I saddle break them before I really decide that they're over that saddle. Reason being is I'm seeing a lot of people getting getting bucked off, and their horse is really not even bucking necessarily because of the rider. They're bucking sometimes because of the saddle, and most of the time it's the constriction of the saddle and not the saddle itself, because nature tells them to get rid of anything that's squeezing them or holding them tight. So with that being said, that's why I'll saddle a horse several days before I actually ride them. And that could be a couple weeks, I'll be honest with you. So, and then same thing with the bit. I see people doing it all the time, and hey, if you do, that is more than, I can't tell you how to run your operation, and I'm not trying to, but I'm just telling you how I feel and what works for me. But like I've heard other people say, I'm just an old dumb hick, so maybe I'm the one that needs to be taught. But I'm just seeing a lot of things happening. Like I see people riding these horses for the first time with a bit in their mouth. Now and the reason I don't is because I'm wanting this horse to focus on me. And what I'm seeing is people are taking these first rides with the bit in their mouth, and the horse is still, their mind is on that piece of metal in their mouth. It's not really on the rider. And then, a couple weeks later, all of a sudden, that's the words that always happens, that I hear, all of a sudden the horse did this or did that. And I think the reason being is because they finally got comfortable with the bit, and they realized someone was up there, and they're like, okay, sayonara, see you, get off my back. So to sum it up before I get up here, and I'll shut up and do it, is that the reason I haven't put a bit in her mouth yet is because I want to make 100% sure that she's settled with me being on her first. And I'm just learning too that you can get a whole lot of give and a whole lot of bending out of them with this little rope hackamore deal more so than you can a bit. So, and that's a video for another day. But that's the reason I haven't rode her with a bit yet, because I'm just trying to get her used to me being up there. Now the owner rode her, and he sent me a video of it, and he had a bit in her mouth, so I hope this don't offend him. And I don't think it will, because he told me he was wanting to learn and everything. So, but that's the reason why I don't put a bit in her mouth on the first ride. I do this in steps. Saddle first, groundwork first, saddle, get them over the saddle, make sure they're fine with it, start riding them, and then before I go any further past riding, I want to make sure they're fine with that. So, so here we go. Now with all that being said, she might just buck me off. But I really don't think so. Just going to let her stop her feet right here and me get situated. I rode her the other day and she did really good. I'm just going to ride her around in here. Takes her a minute to decide to go on, and that's okay too. But we're just going to ride her out right here and see where we get today. So all I'm looking for is forwardness and accepting. Just want to get her used to me being here. That's all I'm looking for. So I just want to remind her that she needs to obey that halter on her nose, that rope hackamore, if you will. So I'm not going to be scared to punch her with my legs, because she needs to know that I mean business. So right here, we're just letting her know that I got control of her. Just walk her around in here. If anybody watched the other video of me riding her, you know, she kept stopping like she's doing now. And all that is protesting. You know, she don't want to work. You just gotta hang in there right there. I didn't mind her. I asked her to trot, but it's the way she did it. I talked her out of being rotten just now. So I'm just going to ask her to carry me around in here, and she'll start getting a little bit more relaxed here in just a moment. Just going to draw her around, have a good time. Cut to the middle here, change directions with her. Stay as relaxed as I can. Do a little bit of changing direction on her. Thanks to the squirrel on the roof. Old Mikey there, scratching his nails on the roof as I went by. That was real nice. I'll have to put Mikey in the crock pot if he don't behave. Have squirrel for supper. But I just want forward. I just want to get her good and quiet and get her working here before I go to start training her in the mouth, in the bit. You might say, well, Mark, why are you turning her so much on the fence? Well, I'm just getting her used to seeing me in both eyes. Do a lot of direction changing. Just right here. A lot of direction changing. So what I'm looking for is for her to get a little bit tired. There we go. Y'all heard her blow right there. That tells me she's getting really good and settled. There we go. Just walk her around now. So where do we go from here? Well, that's a good question. I'll tell you where I go. She's not quite ready to go any further. She still needs a whole bunch of this. Now the next thing I'll do is open my barn up, the red gate's in the middle, and I'll, broaden her horizons a little bit and give her somewhere to go. And I'll get her real fluid. You see, she's still kind of gummed up, And I don't want her gummed up. I want her fluid and understanding. You might say, well, how are you going to do that? Consistency. Teaching her that, she don't know the difference. Okay, a lot of people get worried about being in a pen with a horse too long. And it's my endeavor to get them out of this pen. I understand that. But these horses don't know. They don't know. Who knows that trotting around this pen is not going to be their job the rest of their life? They're horses. They don't know. They adapt to what we ask them to do. That's what God made them for. So the point of me saying that is that I've quit worrying about how long that I've been working them in a pen. Because if this horse is not ready for out there yet, I'll point here so you can see, out in the big world, then I'm not going out there with them. I don't know if you noticed her or not, but when she got a little boogered right there, she's a saddlebred, and she can put that, she can cobra that neck up just like this and put it right in your face, and you ain't got no control. You ain't got no whoa, and you ain't got no turn. It's all gone. It's already back here at you. So you want to make darn sure a horse that can position their head and neck the way that these horses can, that you have control of. Because if you don't, you're going to get out there and something's going to booger them. They're going to take off. And hey, guess what? You're either going to bail off or have to, or you're just going to have to sit the ride out. Because there is no control whatsoever. So I need to make sure that I have control of her. So the way I do that is just continuing with the lateral moves and making sure that she knows that I can place her feet wherever I want to. And just keep doing that. Just keep going with it until she gets what? Until she's not all gummed up. What do I mean she's kind of gummed up? Like right here. She's not fluid enough. She's not understanding enough about this whole ordeal of someone riding her. She's not fluid. She's not catching it. She's not picked up on what I'm laying down. So until she gets a little more fluid and less gummed up, which I can't do anything about until it all starts clicking with her, then this is where we're going to stay. Rope halter, made into a hackamore, and in the pen, and just trotting, maybe doing a little bit of cantering or loping here soon, and a whole lot of leg work. So like right here, what I'll start doing is I'll start adding this leg, and I'll just give her something to do. Move that front end around. Just start moving that front end around. She's going to be able to do this really good because all of her weight is already distributed back. And because of the way she positions her head and neck. But again, that's another video. We're going to stay right here with Cheyenne. The owner has said to take my time and do a good job. So I want to make darn sure that she's not gummed up with being ridden before I go to something else. Finish the area that you're in first before you go to something else. So I hope all that made sense. She's coming. It's slow, but one thing about it, it's sure. So I appreciate you all watching. God bless you and have a good day.